First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon to help us celebrate the official grand opening of Avalon North Station. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Dale. I'm Senior Vice President with Avalon Bay Communities, and I've been involved with the development of this particular community really right from the get-go. And I think it was about 2011, where's Chris, when we started working on this, almost 6 years ago, and it's taken that long to really get to this point. It's been a lot of work by a lot of dedicated people, so part of what we want to do today is just thank some of those people. It feels like we should have had this ceremony a little while ago because we actually moved our first occupants into this building back in November of 2016, about 7 months ago. But we wanted to make sure we had this venue available. It was just recently completed, so we thought this was the appropriate place to have this particular celebration because it's just a spectacular venue, and I think all you have to do is look around at the views and you see one of the greatest cities in the world right at your footsteps. So we're happy to be up here. I'm just going to say a few introductory words, then I'd like to take the opportunity to thank a few people like I mentioned, then I'm going to turn the podium over to the mayor, who I know wants to say a few words. So I think I'm accurate in saying, and no one has fact-checked me on this, thank goodness, that nobody has produced more housing over the past 5 to 6 years in the city of Boston than Avalon Bay. This is the third community we have developed, from Avalon Exeter in the Back Bay, Theater District in the Theater District, and now Avalon North Station here at North Station. It represents an investment of about $600 million and 1,100 apartments. So a huge commitment to the city of Boston. I think it speaks volume about our confidence in the city and the administration and the mayor of the city. Avalon North Station is the largest of the 3 communities that we've developed. It represents an investment of about $250 million, a little more than $250 million. I believe it is the largest single building in the city of a rental, and I think it is the tallest rental building in the city. So if you want to rent an apartment on the 38th floor anywhere in the city, we're the only game in town. And we go up to about 450 feet at the crown of the building, and we're about 415 feet on the 38th floor. So that is something unique about the building. I'm going to brag about that a little bit because I don't think I can say that for too much longer. There's a bunch of buildings, probably including Chris's there, that are going to be a little bit taller. So we're going to lose that distinction shortly, but we're going to keep saying it while we can. And I also think we have the best views in the city. 360 degrees around this building. Every view is a little bit different and shows off a different part of the surrounding neighborhoods in the city. We started construction here in 2014, and we moved our first residents in November of 2017. That was about 17 months from the time we broke ground, which is a great accomplishment by the team we had in place to do that. Today, about 7 months later, after we moved the first people in, we're about 60% leased. So that's a tremendous accomplishment as well, and I think it speaks volume about the way people are accepting this neighborhood as just a fabulous place to live. I said this during the speech when we had our Avalon celebration, but everybody, I think, in their careers, has an opportunity to participate in kind of a one-in-a-lifetime type of development. And I feel Avalon North Station is potentially one of those. I think it's a very unique building. It's a great building. It's not only a great building, but I think it's not only transformed the skyline as well, but I think it has also spawned some other investment in this particular neighborhood that's coming in behind us, and collectively I think it's going to transform the entire neighborhood. So that's something that's pretty special and something we're very proud of. In addition to the financial support that we've provided to the West End Community Center, the Crossroads Initiative, Community Works, and the West End Museum, totaling about $600,000, and the 30 units of affordable housing that we have on site, and the $2.6 million that we contributed to the Housing Trust Fund, we also commissioned an artist to create an art exhibit down in the arcade that's at the base of the building. If you didn't see that on the way in, I encourage you to have a look at that on the way out, because the artist did a fantastic job. And I think it really shows the rich history of the West End, and it provides a unique connection for all the people who pass through that arcade on a daily basis to the history of this neighborhood. So next I'd like to acknowledge a few people who've been instrumental in making this happen. First and foremost, the Avalon team. As I mentioned, we had a celebration up here last week. I think there's a few people who are still suffering from that, even though it was last Thursday. But it was just our opportunity to thank the team for a great job. You know, this site sat here for almost 20 years. No one could really figure out what to do with it until the Avalon team came along. So kudos to the team for figuring it all out. And the execution has been fabulous. So great job. The second is the team of vendors and consultants that we put together to build this. Couldn't have done it without the team that we had in place, in my opinion, starting with CPT Architects and Alfred and Phil and Steve. They did a fantastic job designing this building, working on that pedestrian realm, fixing the arcade, and making this a real kind of livable building. JMA, John Moriarty, and Chris Brown, fantastic job, shoulder to shoulder all the way with us. So thank you for your dedication to this development. Our legal team, Golson and Stores, where's Steve?
1 o'clock call.
1 o'clock call, I figure. Once again, they've kept us out of trouble. Steve and Marilyn Stickler and Darren Baird, great job. VHB, Howard Stein, Hudson, LeMessurier. I could go on and on about the great team we had in place, but very complicated site and a great job by the team to make it happen. Obviously, the staff at the BPDA and other agencies in the city. This is a world-class city, obviously, and it's run by world-class professionals at the city, and it's been a pleasure to work with all of them to really deliver this iconic building and help change the Boston skyline. I see David Carlson here, and Jonathan Greeley, and a number of others. So thank you guys. You were instrumental in making this happen as well. To the members of the local community, I see some IAG members from the days gone by that are here. Thank you for your support along the way. Louise Thomas and Jane Forrestal, Joe McDonald from the West End Museum. I don't know if Jay Walsh is here or Bob O'Brien, but they were instrumental as well from the Downtown North Association. So thank you for your confidence in Avalon Bay as well and supporting us along the way. And last but not least, Mayor Walsh. And I said before, this is a world-class city led by a world-class mayor and administration, and Avalon Bay is very proud to be a part of it. We especially appreciate your understanding of the nexus between housing and economic growth. So we thank you for your support along the way, and it's great to be a part of the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thank you. I did a tour of the building before, well, not the building, the 37th floor, which is spectacular before, and I want to thank Scott and Mike Roberts and everyone in Avalon Bay for the great work you guys do. I know a lot of people have been thanked. Amy Lattimore from the Boston Garden to Boston Bruins, thank you for your work, and for the community, mostly the community. I know that over the years, it feels like the neighborhood's been kind of assaulted with all these new developments going on, and it's kind of it's a good and a bad thing. The good thing is more amenities are going to come to the neighborhood. The bad thing is it changes, and sometimes we need to make sure that change is positive. And one of the things that happened in this building that's really not part of the community benefits is that Avalon Bay helped us with the transportation as well, making some money into studying transportation. So as we study the area of transportation infrastructure, this project is part of that. So I want to thank them as well for that, and I know that it's important. I want to thank everyone who worked on this project. This truly is a spectacular project. I know it's been in the works since 2013. This is one of those projects that, for me, I carried over. I was the head of the building trades when it went to front of the BERA then at the time to support the project, and I became the mayor during the groundbreaking. So these are one of those projects that I had a little bit of, not influence, but worked on prior to my time as the mayor, and certainly since my time as the mayor. And it's great to see it become a reality. The benefits of this project, I think, for me, are the 30 on-site units for low-income housing, the nearly $3 million of money that's going to go into investments in new housing. We've created created a lot of new housing in the city of Boston. Of that housing, we have 19,000 new units on the market since I became mayor, and of that, 8,000 of moderate low-income housing. We've invested $100 million into low-income housing in the city, and that money is being able to be invested because of projects like this. They're able to help us create opportunities to allow this city to be truly an inclusive city. So I want to thank, this tower is certainly in an ideal location. It's next to the Boston Garden, but it's also a gateway. When I was running for mayor, my campaign talked about gateways into the city of Boston, and we want to make sure that as people approach our city, they should be seeing something spectacular. And I think as you start to come into Boston now, you see this tower, you see the Zakin Bridge, you see the Bunker Hill Monuments, you see to the right the West End, to the left the North End. So it truly is an incredible gateway into our city as we continue to grow here, as we start to see more. So again, I want to thank the community really who helped spark the vision for this. When you go downstairs, you will see the mural. And I know the folks in the West End, you will absolutely love the mural, because that mural has a history right there. And people will come into the Boston Garden going to see the Bruins or going in town, and they're going to walk by that. It's going to bring back a lot of memories for folks and what their neighborhood looked like back in the day. And I want to, again, thank Avalon for doing that, for commissioning that piece of artwork, because it truly is a piece of artwork. Lastly, I just want to say Boston is thriving and growing as a city. Our population in the last 3 years has grown by over 30,000 people. We're nearing in on that 700,000 person mark. We've created 60,000 new jobs in the city of Boston alone in the last 3 years. That's 120 in the state, 60 of those jobs here in the city of Boston. We'll continue to move on. What's interesting about our city is that we have people who come here to school, and young people want to stay in our city, so we have to create housing opportunities for those folks, the millennials. And we also have baby boomers, many people who moved out of the city, moved to the North Shore to raise their family, or the South Shore to raise their family, and now they want to get back into the city. So it's great to see so many people want to come in our city. It truly is we have a world-class city, and the reason why it's world-class is because the residents of our city are world-class. So again, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words today, and I just encourage anyone, this probably is, I have to say, one of the nicest places that I've ever been as far as seeing a complete view of the city of Boston. And on the 37th floor, there was a nice view, because out one window was the place I used to work, the State House, and out the other window was the place where I work now, City Hall, and we need to do some work in City Hall. I'll see you later.